Okay, let me just go to here. Receiving your connection. Woohoo! Hello, everyone. Just give me a second here. Shoot. I don't know whatever happened to that. Oh, there it is. Share, copy. Let me just do the usual, trying to get my show out there, trying to share it to all my followers here. There you go. Okay. Hello, and welcome to the Talking with Dashing Foxie show. And I am your host, Dashing Foxie. Yay! Okay. So, hello, and I hope you guys had all a wonderful New Year's. Let me just try to make sure everything's good, because I got to take phone calls later. Okay. Everything's good. Everything's wonderful. We're going to do it. So, what's up? I'm doing my show. That's what's up. We're here live, and we're going to be talking about furries on media. Furries on media. Gotta love it. Let's see. I love you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hi there. Let's see. We have Eagles. Hello. Hello out there, Eagles. So, welcome to another edition of Live with Dashing Foxie. I will be taking phone calls today. We will be getting to them very soon, and we will be talking about it's all about the media today. And what are you talking about, Dashing? You really didn't get any clarification on that. Well, the media is like your, like CNN, stupid stuff like that. Then you also have your internet celebrities who talk about furries, and then you got all these other people. So I'm going to talk about a couple of recent occurrences in the furry fandom and give my intake, and maybe you can give me a little bit of feedback, and we could talk, have a nice discussion, and then I'll take your phone calls later. So, now, in the media, to me, is like on the news, on TV shows, you have your YouTubers out there, like, people who are like me, who does it, but that's not really media. I mean, it's media, but I don't consider it media unless if it's on television or if it's on some sort of well-known show, or network. Now, there is famous people out there who are on the internet that are like Telephone, where she is very popular. She is in the media a lot, and she talks a lot to different kinds of people, especially like CNN. CNN had their interview with people. You had NBC who did an interview. You had Vice, which I don't really care for Vice, but they had their own interview. And today we're going to be talking about some positives and negative things about all these different all these different medias. So hopefully you got your favorite recorder on hand. I don't know why I said recorder, but maybe your favorite popcorn. I don't know. So, and today that's what we're going to be talking about. And if you are going to like this, and you think you're going to like this, and you know anybody who's going to like this, press the thumbs up button, and maybe we get more people in here. So before I do that, let's see if we have any more comments. Hey, Husky. Let's try to keep that from whatever. Okay, now, so the one thing about being in the furry media is, let's talk about some expectations that these people think that we have. And I think it's kind of like a wrong thing to say, because I feel like that, stereotypes can be true. If many people say it, it's probably true. And it's sad to say that, but it's true. So, but it's not all about us. So let's get rid of all like the negative stereotypes. Like, that's why kind of like I didn't like Vice's talk on it, because Vice's was more of like a broad, and it was way too condescending of itself. It was like, it does this, but it does this. And it's like, I get that you sometimes want to have a positive and negative feedback, but I also don't want it to be all positive and negative feedback, which I think is completely wrong, but that's only my opinion. So, now let's talk a little bit. Let's start out with like the obvious ones, like NBC. That whenever they did their whole story on NBC, and now I would show you some clips, but then it would be, oh, well, this video is not right because it showed clips about stuff and we're going to get free advertisement. But that's not how it works. It's not how the real world works, which I don't understand. So, NBC's one, I think, is more of a positive. Number one, it doesn't look at any... It kind of does look at some of the bad stuff, but it doesn't do it in a bad-hearted manner. So, whenever you first start out on the video, which I wish I could show it, but I think, well, you know what, screw it. I'm going to show it. Well, maybe not. No, I better not. So, if you actually look at the NBC one. Now, the NBC one starts out really positive. You know, it's like, this girl, she comes in and does what everybody does. Like, what am I doing here? Like, this just feels really weird and really awkward. And, you know, it kind of can shed some light on different things. Like, because, see, when I first got into this fandom, I really thought it was weird. If anybody out there who was just got into this fandom and you were like, oh, it's so cool, you know, it's not weird, you're probably lying to yourself. Because there is a weirdness factor to it, and there is going to always be weirdness to this fandom. And the one thing that I think normal people associate with this fandom, which is way overdone, is the sex. You know, it's, oh, everybody's having bad times and bad touches, and you know, everything that you're doing is all because of one thing. And I think the only reason why people got this was, number one, CSI, and number two, it kind of like intertwined with each other. It was like, all these people, I heard Johnny down the streets doing it, so it must be true. So I feel like that's one problem with this whole entire fandom. And I feel like it's just one of those things that's a deterrent for people, because they're like, aren't those people who do stuff in their suit? And then I get that all the time. Like, every time that I say that I'm a furry to like somebody who's just a normal person, that's the very first like question I get asked, which I don't really understand it. I mean, it's a general question and I get it, but like where did it all spouse from? Now, because of this is, I think the only reason it spoused from was, if you ever type in Anthrocon 1999, and it was like about like, if you watch it, it's kind of cringeworthy in my opinion. It's like you get a rabbit with like a whip, and I think it was like one of the very first panels, and it was very cringeworthy, like really cringeworthy. And well, you're watching it and you're going, that's not what the fandom's all about now. And the one thing that the media has been doing, and I've been noticing it, they've been trying to get away from that fact. Even like CNN, a person I thought was going to be like really biased and like be really like bad towards it, actually turned out to be a positive for it. So it's one of those things that it can get really messy when it comes to like furries and the furry fandom. Now, whenever you're talking about this, and it's going to eventually pop up that, you know, the sex thing and, you know, all this other stuff, is another thing that's going to pop up is, do you do other things? Like, you know, the good thing about furries in the media nowadays is that it's kind of like moved away from the sex talk, and it kind of ramped up on, these are actually real people underneath. And it's again, it's a weird thing, you know. If you walk down the street and you see a clown, you're going to be like, why is that clown there, you know? It's a furry. We're the same exact thing. Why is somebody dressed up as an animal over there? And why are we here talking about different animals? And why is it like that? So, before you get all like flabbergasted and going, dashing, that's not all what you get. You do. I mean, every time that I do charity events, I do any sort of event that deals with normal people, I always get this question asked. Why did you decide to dress up in that? And what the media has done, and even here in New Jersey, you know, they want to try to find bad things of it. I think more of the media nowadays is all about like quick topics like, oh, those furries are bad. Yeah, they're bad. We need to get them out of there. So I think what the media did now, and I think it's starting to turn into, it's like, well, maybe they're not all that bad. Let's take a look deeper into them. And I think CNN did that decently. I don't think they did it very well. I think that there's more stuff they could have covered, but it is only an hour show or 45-minute show. You can only cover so much. So I'm going to do a pass on that. And as for that one documentary, it was for, what was that one? It was like really popular. It was like Furs or something. And it was like a whole documentary. That one doesn't count either, because that whole entire thing turned into like a Kage bashing show at the end. I don't consider that a furry documentary. I consider that you started out good, and then by the end you're just bashing on Kage. And I get it. You were thrown out of Anthrocon because of one bad incident, and he didn't want you filming there. I get it. Don't do it. Okay? Just because somebody, you know, wants to, you know, protect something, you know, because they're really protecting it. You know, they're protecting Anthrocon, and they're protecting it from any stupid people out there who does want to see it in a bad light. That's why you got to have a media pass, and I get that. It's cool. Now, do I think Anthrocon's in the right to just kick them out? No, but I also don't think they're also in the wrong too. So I think it was called like Furlandia for something, and one of my friends was in it, and I thought it was decent up until that certain point. And what you have to realize too, being furries, it's hard to interview us sometimes, because we are like really shy people. Okay, outside of this suit, I'm a very like, I'm shy. I know I'm shy, but I'm only not shy when I'm with other furries, because I get to talk with them. I get to have, you know, we have same bonding situations. And before this, you know, before I became a furry, I wasn't really talking to anybody. So that was another thing that I thought CNN and NBC really, well, NBC really didn't cover it well, but CNN covered it well. Anxiety issues. Okay, that's why I had this whole entire show not too long ago about anxiety issues. Anxiety issues are a real thing. They pop up in this furry fandom more than not, because a lot of people do get scared about, you know, talking to people. And I'm sure that there's people on here that are like really scared sometimes. And the one thing about it though is what CNN did do good about it was that they put it more into light. And it's not just that we're a bunch of furries doing this. We're actually a bunch of furries who communicate through our fursuits. And I feel like that's one thing that these like CNN did really well. Is it was more of, hey, these people have a real anxiety problem, and we're going to look at that, and we are going to say, hey, you know, it's true. And the one thing that they did, that was one thing they did well. The other things that they didn't do well, you know, it is an elephant in the room. You have to talk about the elephant in the room, and it is the bad stuff, you know. And there's always going to be bad stuff. Like, look at anime. Anime, in my opinion, doesn't line up well with furries, but I think they line up together in the same exact category. You get these people that are really weird and all they want to do is like have wild fun and stuff like that. And then you get the people who are very sensible and do it as a hobby or really like a show or really like something. So, but they never talk about that during anime. They only talk about it during furries, which I never really got because anime does line up with us quite well in that aspect. Now, I feel like a very important speaker right now, but don't worry. I'm going to get to your phone calls and we're going to start talking. I want to talk to you and get your examples of different furries out there who really do make big. And what CNN did, they did take a popular character. It was Telephone. Telephone is quite popular with furries. And I think the only reason why is because she created Angel Dragons, which I think is a great thing, and she deserves it. And they had a one-to-one talk with her, which I thought was kind of good, but I also think it was kind of bad. Because I feel like if I'm having a documentary, you shouldn't be talking to the person. You should be talking to the fursuiter. And a fursuiter might not be, acceptable in everybody, but you realize that a fursuiter helps you with your anxiety. It helps you with your difficult situations in life. How many times have you, if you have a fursuit out there, have just got in your fursuit and you just started feeling a lot happier about your life? Because you're like, I'm not just part of, one person. I'm with a whole bunch of people who are just like me. And I feel like that's what furries do too, but media doesn't cover it that well. And I think media should cover it well. It turns you into like a family. The hugs and all this other stuff, it turns you more into a family picture. And you get to talk to your family. You get to have fun with your family, You get to talk about furries and you get to talk about stuff that you like. And then you start really getting into it. And I don't think media covers that well enough. That we're not just a society, not a society, sorry. But we're not just like furries out there, just randomly walking around being bored. No, we have people to talk to. And we always will have people to talk to. I've learned that throughout this whole entire furry experience. If I always feel sad, I can always talk to another furry. Sorry. And they will listen to me quite well. Sorry. My throat's kind of bleh. But you also do have to recognize that some of it will be there. And it will always be there in our furry lives. And that's the one thing that I wish that CNN would have done better in that aspect. Who all is there? Who all is here? Wow, we got 3 people. I don't know. But see, the one thing too about this whole entire furry media thing. Dang it, I can't stop doing that. Clearing my throat. Got a stuffy little nose. But so another thing that happens during this furry media is there's bad sounds. Like you got the CSI episode. Every time that I hear that CSI episode, wasn't furries in that one CSI episode, and it was like about like a pedophile or something. It's like, we're not all pedophiles. If we were all pedophiles, that'd be terrible, and I would probably not be in this fandom, number 1. Number 2, you can't base it on a fictional TV show. And that's why I don't consider that. I don't consider 2 things. It's the CSI episode, which I thought was just stupid and by itself. You're going to generalize a group of people because you have one bad occurrence, or even on a TV show. And I think people take a look at that TV show and I think they go, well, yeah, that has to be real, right? No, it's not real. It's just a stupid TV show. So before people really get like excited about that, don't. It's just a TV show. It's not real life. Now, that's why I feel like it's very critical that these news stations or these people who are, talking about us have to be realistic. Because they have to be realistic, number one, because they're basing all their knowledge on facts. And you have to base all your knowledge on facts if you're doing a documentary, if you're doing any sort of thing. You have to base it on facts. I'm not going to precede you if you are looking at NCIS. That's a whole stupid thing that's convoluted. Stupid. So, now, another thing that the furry fandom doesn't get enough respect for, and I wish that they did, like CNN like tapped on it like once, and it was all the charities that we give to. I mean, we give a lot of things to charities, and I feel like it's a good thing, and I wish media would talk about charities more about us, and maybe like try to promote them a little bit more, because to me, if we're doing just an ounce of good, it's good for everybody else. And that's the one thing that MFF does well. My opinion, MFF has the best staff when it comes to volunteering. They do everything right. They talk about it. If I could ever get somebody from MFF on this channel that does like charities or does any sort of thing, I need to get them on, because I have so much questions for them. And that's the one thing that I wish people would understand about us a little bit more. Now, another thing in the furry media, and it becomes a huge problem with this, is that they don't look at the suit more. And, you know, and that goes along with, I think they should be interviewed in suit. NBC did it in their suits, and I thought it was really good, because it gives you more of a dynamic. If I take off my head right now, it's not going to give you more of a dynamic. You're just going to be like, what's a regular person talking about furries? And I feel like, yeah, you can be out of your suit and still be a furry, but I think it just helps out more with the, you know, getting the feel for it. You know, pretending that you're in their shoes. And that's one thing that I do have to say that I really did like for it, is that. So, then there's definitely every other thing too that really comes into play and, you know, does it. Now, I know we don't have a lot of people in here today, but, you know, we'll eventually get more people. If you please share this video, I'd really appreciate that. And I'll be opening up the phone lines here in like 2 minutes. I got a new thing, a new mixer. So whenever you have the phone calls, you're going to be able to hear it crystal clear, because I no longer have a speaker set up to my microphone. I have a mixer, and it cost me, oh, not that much, but it's very exciting, and it's a new thing on the show. So hopefully you guys can give me a call in later whenever I open up the phone lines, and we can start really talking and getting a good understanding of, you know, maybe I missed something here. So I do a lot of research. I don't write it down, because I feel like if I write it down, it's just going to be me talking like a robot here on the station, on the show, and be like, yes, this is how it was. Ha ha. So I try to do it by memory. Now, the other thing that I would like to talk about is how the media shows us as, you know, I don't know. I feel like they show us a little bit crazy. Like the Vice one showed us like we're like all crazy people and we don't deserve to have any friends, or real life is not existent to us. Let me tell you right now, I have a job. So real life does exist to me, and it does exist to everyone who is a furry. And who is that? I don't know who that is. I'm in the middle of my show, so.
I am disturbing your show.
Oh, you are?
I am definitely disturbing your show.
You are disturbing my show.
I'm actually taking over your show.
You're taking over my show.
So I'm just going to have to kill you first.
Okay.
Live.
Live?
And then I'll take over.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
Like...
How's it going, Kiba?
Good.
This is Kiba.
Hi everybody.
He makes media too.
I make media. Yeah, I make something.
You do make.
I make stuff, but I don't do live streams like you.
Well, I know. Not a lot of people do live streams like me. That's why I'm my own unique person, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But today we're talking about media.
Oh, cool. All right.
Furries in the media.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about.
We do. Like, while I'm right now, we are discussing about what they talked about on CNN, which was
the documentary.
The documentary.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one was it was a decent one. I think there was positives and negatives to every.
I think it was generally pretty good out of like all the other ones we've seen.
Yeah,
there were some really bad ones out there.
And you know, I have seen bad ones. Like, have you ever seen Vice's article? I didn't like.
Oh, the Vice one.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the Captain Otter one?
Oh my lord. Like, and see, the problem is there's so much media out there, and it gives such an illusion to people. It's like, oh, those guys are weirdos. They just have fun in their suits, like weird fun.
It's hard for them to really understand what really happens in the fandom.
It's hard to explain, but I think that it could be explained. But that I can't.
I think maybe more experienced than explained.
Yeah, more experienced.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But did you see I got a new mixer?
I did see that new mixer. It looks pretty fancy.
It is.
Can I just start turning the dials?
No, don't.
Oh no, okay.
Well, you can turn this one.
Oh,
you can slide that up.
Oh, yeah.
Do other
this
things.
Is pretty cool.
But yeah, no.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Is it even on?
It is on.
Oh, all right.
Right now, if somebody would call into the show, I'll be opening the phone line soon. You'll be able to hear him crystal clear through that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Isn't that nifty?
That is pretty fancy. There's a mute button.
There is a mute button, but it won't. It doesn't. It only works for the microphone.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Sorry, I'm explaining the...
There's a lot of media stuff here. I don't even understand. Dashing's like the pro.
I'm not really a pro at this. I got this from Amazon. Amazon's a good place to go. I'm not even sponsored, but
that's good. You're sponsoring them on.
I'm not. I am not sponsoring anyone right now. I'm sponsoring myself and people who are talking. And yes, somebody booped you.
Oh, hi.
I don't know. His name's Max.
Hi, Matt.
Max.
Oh, Max. Hi, Max.
Hi.
You booped me.
He did boop you.
Oh, and then I'll boop him. There you go.
Oh, well, that makes it all the better by booping me. So yeah, no. You have any comments about media? Do you think that some media unfairly portrays us, or do you think they sometimes positively portray us?
I think most of the time they want to portray. They are able to write a story that they want to fit to their audience. Yeah. Which can be actually a bad thing, because then they are changing what reality is. Yeah. So in most cases it's kind of bad.
And that's
it's very difficult to find like media outlets that are honest, fair and unbiased. Yeah, it's very hard to find them. Well,
I feel like I've been telling these people out here at home, is I feel like it's all about clicking. How can we make it more appealing to somebody than actually tell the truth? Like, I feel like that's a big case in furry. Yeah. Cases. Oh well, we can talk about having wild fun or having other things like that, and it will get them more ratings or get them more subscriptions and stuff like that.
That doesn't always happen, but
No, but people try to do it all the time. Yeah. So, well, all right. Kiba, you gonna go out to eat? I guess.
Yeah, I just want to say hi.
Hello. It was nice talking to you.
Good to see you again.
This has been Kiba.
It's been a while.
Kiba makes videos, and he makes some dang good media.
I make videos.
That's
about it.
He makes good videos.
I make videos.
If you could go to his channel after you're done watching this stream, It's Kiba Wolf, right?
Yeah, Kiba Wolf.
Kiba Wolf.
Yeah, just look up Kiba Wolf on YouTube, and you'll probably find my YouTube channel.
There you go, yeah. Kiba Wolf, and he makes really good content and really good media. So
thank you.
Hopefully you'll be back on the show and actually be in your fursuit next time.
Maybe. We'll see.
I got a professional.
Oh yeah, now you got this thing.
Yeah, I got everything.
Wow.
Whoa. I'll show it to you later when you get back.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I hope you enjoy your pizza.
See you later.
See you later,
See you
Kiba.
later.
Have a nice time out.
Bye.
Bye-bye. But, well, that was Kiba, guys. On the Talking with Dash and Foxie show. If you haven't ever seen his videos, I would definitely take a look at them because they are quite good. Now, and that's another thing that the media doesn't really talk about. They don't really talk about YouTubers. You know, YouTubers can be a real asset to you if you're a, you know, if you're somebody who's big on YouTube. They could be a real asset to you. And I feel like that's another thing that I don't think media does quite well. Sorry, I keep bumping the mic. I gotta stop doing that. So, let's take a look here. Furries are nice, kind, and fluffy. The news are trying to ruin the fandom. The fandom is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. That's what Kiba. Damn. Okay, so now the one thing that furries always. So you know what? I'm gonna open up the phone lines right now. We're gonna open up the phone lines and hopefully get somebody who calls in, and I will even type it out for you out in the comments below. The phone number is 1717-839-3684. You can talk about this furry media, and I really want to get some takes here because I think the furry media for any sort of news or any sort of thing can be done in a good light, and I feel like it's not always done in a good light, and it sucks to say that because it really does. And I wish I would have seen where I was typing, but I did not. Let's see. Nope. It's still not working. Wait, hold on. It's 1717-839-3684. You can give me a call, and we can have a nice conversation. You can talk about your favorite things about the media in the fandom. Now, YouTubers, well, let me get to YouTubers. YouTubers are a good outlet. And there is some really good, funny YouTubers out there. From Adler the Eagle, I've talked about him to an extent when I was talking my YouTuber furries. I talked about the Roo, the guy who one of my very first people I actually interviewed. He was really nice. He has a lot of interesting topics too. He kind of does what I do, but not live, where he talks about different things that are happening within the furry fandom. He's more of like a news kind of guy, and he's part of the media too. When the media was really big with this furry fandom, when there was actually like Furry News Network, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff, which I thought was great. It showed a lot of the talents about the artists that, that have been prevalent and have been really good, and I feel like that's another thing that the media doesn't really talk about, the art. It takes a lot of art to make these fursuits. It takes a lot of art to draw your fursona. It takes a lot of thinking. You don't just wake up one day and go, oh, I got everything. This is great. No, it doesn't work like that. Being a furry is like creating your own individual character. And I don't think the media really, they talk about it, like CNN talked about it a little bit, but they really didn't dig deeper into it. And the one thing that furries take pride of, and I know I take pride in my fursona, is their fursonas. And I don't think they really do a good job, or enough of a good job, to really talk about, their fursonas. And there's a whole bunch of people, that are in real life, normal people, who go, well, that's just weird. You're going as a dog? No, well, it's more than just a dog, okay? And the media, now CNN again did talk about it decently, and I'm not going to give them any slap for that. But they didn't really explain 100% what a fursona is. A fursona is not just you, an eccentric person of you. It is a person who, you know, it's its own character. And yeah, Dashing is a little bit like me, but not like me. He's not like me at all. I have different things. I could never do this with my face. My regular face, I couldn't do this. I would be out that door, down the street. And you create your own person. You create your own fantasy. And I love that. I love the idea. You don't have to worry about no comic books. You don't have to worry about no anything. But you only worry about what you want as a character. And a lot of media doesn't talk about that. They don't explain it well enough. And I wish they would explain it a little bit better than a fursona is a character that you create. That's it. I'm done. Everyone out. We're done. No. Let's see. The fandom hasn't been enjoyable, fun for the last few months. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that that's going on. And I feel like the media doesn't help us. Like, it helps us in some ways. Like, furry YouTubers, okay? Like I said before, furry YouTubers are a great part of this furry fandom. And I'm hoping to eventually, you know, get big enough that where I can have a furry YouTuber on every single week. Because these people are our media. It's our media. Okay, like whenever you watch, I don't even like him, but Majira, or whenever you watch another furry, like Telephone or something, that's our media. It's not nothing but our media. And I feel like more people should be experiencing that. I feel like if you have a talk show or you're even having a news thing, I feel like the news should go after people who, you know, have been with the fandom for many, many years. You know, not like, I know they went after Telephone and that was great and that's fun, but I didn't know the person who was the Beagle. I didn't know anybody like that. And yeah, I'm glad that they did him, because I think it was a good point, because these people had very sociable anxieties. And that's great, but I feel like there should have been more of an emphasis on, we need to get people like from YouTube. We need to get people who have been with the fandom, have seen the worst side of the fandom, but also seen the best side of the fandom. Because this fandom isn't like pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. It's never been that. It has never been and never will be that. There will be drama. There will be other things like that. And that's the kind of lighting that I feel like if I'm in the media or somebody in the media, they need to talk about. They need to talk about how we are a family, but we will eventually, you know, get into fights. We will eventually do it. It's not all beautiful. And the one thing that the CNN did that I don't really cared for was it made everything seem like it was so perfect. You know, you got your fursona, you got your fursuit and stuff like that, and now you're ready to go. No, that's not entirely everything that happens. You know, if you want a fursona, you have to go and you have to really try your darnest to do it. You know, you could either make it, you can get it by going online, you can get it by a whole bunch of different stuff. And that's good. But it kind of like made it sound like it's so easy to make a fursuit. Everybody makes fursuits. Happy-go-lucky. I mean, well, except for that one Beagle, but I'm not a huge fan of the Beagle. And I feel like, I don't know, it's weird. But the media needs to portray us a little bit better when it comes to different things too. And at least they're not talking about sex, or they're not talking about all this other bad stuff. And that's the good thing about it now. They're not talking about the bad pictures. They're starting to focus in different stuff. Like, instead of focusing in all on, they have anxiety, which it's true. A lot of furries have anxiety now. But how about you focus on more important stuff, like the conventions that go on, the charities. The charities are a very important part of our furry heritage. See different panels. I mean, there's so many panels there, from dance competitions to, people who just have a voice and they're like, I want to do a panel. And a lot of times, those are the most interesting panels to go to. I mean, what it needs to do, it needs to just focus on one con. Now, NBC did that pretty decently, but it didn't do it exactly the way I think it should. I think if there's a documentary out there, and it should be about furries, but it should be not the expectations, but I think it should be more of furry conventions. It should have a whole thing on furry conventions, on what makes a furry convention so different from any other convention. Then it should focus on people of the community doing it all in their fursuit, not seeing their face, not seeing anybody but their fursuit. If you want regular people who don't have fursuits, go ahead, have them in there. But I'm just saying, if you want the full realistic effect on how we do in fursuits, that's how it should be. It should be then they should go to not a convention, but they should go to a fur bowl and see how fur bowls work, how the person interacts with other people in their fursuit, because you become a whole different other person. It happens. You do. And I think the media should have 3 or 4 different documentaries, and it should all be about different things. And occasionally talk about the bad side, because doesn't matter what fandom you have, you're going to have a bad side. But try to tell them, hey, we're not all doing this. There might be that group that does it, but we're not all doing this. And if we do, we're not gonna tell you, because it's your own personal business, not their personal business. But that's another thing that I feel like that there needs to be more of address to. But that's only my opinion. I don't know. I feel like more of a lecture. So, if you do want to call in, my phone number is 1717-839-3684. You can give me a call, and you can, you can give me a call. We could talk about anything you want. I got a mixer now, and my allergies are bothering me. I don't know. And I feel like just today's show isn't really getting that much traction. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's a Sunday night. Maybe it's people that are, maybe they've got other plans. I don't know. But it just doesn't seem like today's show is really up to the speed. Well, last week I had Skuro on, and he kind of bumped my ratings, and he's probably the big reason why that was getting 10 viewers. But so the one thing I do have to say about this whole entire furry media thing is they should focus more on the YouTubers. So let me go to the YouTubers now. They're their own media. You have Majora, who, in my opinion, is a copycat of, you see a kid on TV and he's drinking a bunch of coffee, and you're oh, bunch of jump cuts, bunch of things like that, and that's fine. If he's what he's doing and he has very interesting content, good for him. Have fun doing that. Then you have people who are like me, or like Mr. Roo over there. I can't think of it. Tankin. I can't think of his name right now. where he talks about current events. Because I feel like I try to talk a little bit more about current events, and then talk about like different things that you might be interested in, like today. Now there's another media that's just popping up its head, and it's kind of trending, and that's why the reasons why I was talking about it on the trending is animators. Animators are becoming a huge thing on YouTube, and I don't know if it's because YouTube just favors animators than me, or views animators more than most other people, and they're becoming a huge thing on YouTube, and that's fine. It's cool. I don't really get angry at that. But the one thing is that furries are starting to take advantage of it, and that's great. You know, you got Adler the Eagle. He does animations, which a lot of his ones are good. You have what's his name? He's the one who does it on Twitter, but it's still he's still part of the media talk, and he does a lot of different stuff. If I can only think of his name. If I think of his name, I'll come back to you. You have a bunch of different animators who are just starting to come onto the furry scene. And YouTube is basically giving them a spotlight, and that's great, and I'm glad they are. And that's another thing, you know. YouTube is a great way to find media for furries. Then you have the people who just talk about different furry things, but they don't really have like a general direction. Like there's a podcast out there. I just found out about it. It's called like Furry Podcast or something. And now I heard that one. I listened to a little bit. They talk more like politics, and they talk like different stuff. I don't talk about that because I don't feel like politics should be a way of life of furries. I don't think that politics should be. But they're their own social media, and they do a bunch of different stuff, and I think they were actually at MFF doing, like, different things, like charity, which is great. Good for them. And they need to be spotlighted more. You have all the furries who do dances. Dances is becoming, it already has been a huge thing about furries. You know, you dance, you know how to play guitar, you know how to do... You know, like, that's why I had Skuro on the other day, because he was a good guitarist, and he could sing, and, you know, I might not have the best microphone in my life, but it was a good thing to have on, you know, with a good change of pace. Now, you have people who do the TikTok now. TikTok has always been big, but now furries are starting to get into it. And you have all this different media, you know, media that is helping the fandom. Now that's why I want you to call in. Maybe you can give me a little bit more examples, you know, of different furry media that is starting to really pop up. Who's your favorite furry in media? You know, that'd be a good one. My phone number is 1717-839-3684. You can give me a call. We could talk about it, you know. Now YouTube doesn't just have furries, you know, it has different other people, like people who talk about furries, you know. Good Mythical Morning, you know, that show. I don't know if anybody ever watches that anymore. I used to watch it all the time. Now I kind of like went out of it. They actually did a whole thing on furries. It was more of, they went to a convention, they got to see a bunch of furries, and now everybody's going, they're furries, they're furries. Well, I don't think they are, but it's a good way, you know. Then you have like negatives, like you have like all these people like on Dr. Phil, and they're like, oh, I dress up in furry costumes. I feel like that's very concerning. No, I don't understand that, you know. If you're dressing up in furry costumes, you're just a person who just likes, you're in the furry fandom. You shouldn't be on Dr. Phil. I mean, it's not crazy to dress up as a other character. I mean, people from comic books do it all the time. Why can't we do it? You know, it's so weird. So, you have from Dr. Phil, you have the YouTubers that are out there, the Twitter, you know, Duke the Dancing Dog is probably a very interesting beret of it. Because, see, no, I like Duke the Dancing Dog. He has some very interesting content, and you know, he makes really good media. But there was at one point where he was like, I quit the furry fandom, and that was, I heard over something. But the one thing about it is that, you know, if you are a furry media like Dojo Dingo or anybody out there who does it, you know, you're not just going to disappear. You know, that's why people still talk about that Karen or Coke or whatever that weird guy's name that did dogs and stuff, you know, which I don't support him at all, but he's still part of the furry media. And that's where we get all these people who are like, oh, they like to do it with dogs. It's like, no, we don't. There was one guy out there who was weird enough to do it. Why are you going to come down on me because I'm part of the same group as him? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Is that fair? I mean, if I walk into a restaurant and I'm, you know, white or black or anything, and you see another white or black person stealing, does that mean that I'm going to do it too? No, it's not. That's unfair. That is unfair. So that's the problem with media, though. They do this. Like RC Fox, which, God rest his soul, you know, he was a very nice guy. I met him and stuff like that. But if he was doing what he was doing, and you had all the evidence, and that's bad that he did it, but you don't compare me to him. It's a terrible thing to do. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do nowadays. They compare. They go, that guy. So let's see if we have any comments here. We have somebody says, I agree, which thank you. And he just got here. Good job. Good job, dog. So the one thing about this whole entire thing, too, in the furry media, is that furries, the media kind of spins it, you know. And that's the one thing about furry YouTubers that kind of I agree with, is because they spin it, I have a voice, so I can talk about it. And I can go, well, that's wrong. And that's the one thing that furry YouTubers, in my opinion, should be a little bit more exposed to it. Because you can say that they're wrong. You can say, hey, I don't agree with you. I have enough subscribers to back that up, and people will come up to me and go, hey, you're doing a good job, you know. So furry media in YouTube is a very important thing that we have right now. And it's starting to grow bigger, and I like it. I like that it's growing bigger because that means more people will start getting exposed to it, and more people might go, you know, I might not be into this, but I respect them. I respect these people. And that's all I ever want. I just want the media and everybody to respect us. We are the same as you, but we just like dressing up in fursuits and giving hugs. Woo! So, we are, I'm still taking phone calls if you want to call in. My phone number is 1717-839-3684. You can call in. You can, you know, we can have a nice conversation. I want to hear what you guys think about this whole topic. Because I don't want to be the only guy talking about this. I want other people. So if you want to call in, my phone number again is 1717-839-3684. You can give me a call. We could talk about this. You know, do this. And if you're liking this, please share this around to your friends. Let's get some more people in here. So, as we wait for a call, I guess I'll just keep talking, unless if people want to type in the comments, that's fine. So, we have the YouTube present now, you know, with all like Majera, and I can't remember what that cat's name, but that cat name got really popular because she's an animator, and YouTube really bumps animators. So if you want to become popular on YouTube and be a furry, become an animator. Yeah. So you could do that, or you can, you know, try to grind it out. But so the other thing that I do want to talk about is how the media downplays like all of it. Like, so what I notice like on CNN is that what they'll do is they'll be like, but that's fine, you know, it's okay. It's like, you know, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because when I was watching it, I could feel it. It's kind of like they're trying not to dig too deep, but they're also trying to, like, you know, put a positive spin, which was great. But, like, I wanted them to dig a little bit deeper, you know, get a little bit deeper. Give me something that, you know, that only furries would know, or something that furries, you know, to be expected. You know, they really didn't dig deep. They kind of like kept it at like a smooth interview, and that's cool. But, you know, that's why I said earlier in the show, they need to do like a whole convention show. And it needs to be a documentary on conventions. And then them digging deep into it, you know, really talking to people like me and you who are furries, who are very important to this fandom. And we love this fandom. You know, every day that I wake up, I always go, I love being in this fandom. I've never, like, said, oh, this fandom sucks. Because there's so much different individuals out there that really make it good. You know, with the art from everything. So, yeah, no, just, it's great. And I love this fandom. And that's why whenever I see it talked badly, it just makes me go, why are you talking to us like that? Why are you taking one incident and putting it into something that's nothing? And I just wish they would just stop doing that. You know. So, yeah, you can call in, you know, we can talk. And one couple other things that I'll talk about as I wait for my very first caller. I'm hoping somebody eventually calls in. Let's see. What's your opinion on furries that go to the interview? Do you think that their respond to us well? Is it respond? Sorry, I suck at reading in this. I'm guessing it says respond to us well. So let me first answer the very first one. What is your opinion on furries who go into the interview? I think it's great. I think furries that go into the interview and want to be interviewed and eager to really talk about this fandom, I think it's a great topic because, you know, I think it's a great thing. If you want to be interviewed, go ahead, be interviewed, you know. If you don't, then tell them no. Then do you think that they respond to us well? Well, a response well. Sorry. I think, in my personal opinion, in all the interviews that I've seen with different furries, I think they kind of look at us kind of weird. Even CNN kind of made it look like she was a little bit weirded out by the whole entire thing. Their response was more of it's a general response, you know. If I'm looking at somebody over there who has a fursuit, I'm a person who's not part of that, I'm gonna be like, that's a little kind of weird, and I get that, you know. It's very interesting thing that you're doing over there, but I feel like if you're in an interview, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be taking it as, you know, you are normal. You know, you just like doing this as a hobby. You just like doing this as, you know, being yourself, but not being yourself. Because, you know, when I think of myself, I don't think of myself as a person who just delivers mail and whatever. I think of myself as a person who is part of something bigger than that. And the furry fandom has always made me feel like that. It always made me feel special. It always made me feel like a real fox sometimes. And their responses to them were kind of like, do you do stuff like that? You know, you could tell by their facial expression. It's in everyone's facial expression. If you're not wearing a fursuit and I'm looking at you, I can tell by your facial expression that you're not going to like a hamburger. And I feel like even in the expression of the CNN one, I feel like it was more of, the expression was, I'm not here to make fun of you, but I feel like I should. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just something that's only me and I can see it. But I feel like that was their whole entire thing. And you shouldn't make fun of us. You should embrace us, you know. Try to learn about us. you know, in fursuit or even out if you don't have a fursuit. Because there's a lot of talent outside of fursuit too. You know, all those DJs that do the DJs at night, those guys are great. They're fantastic. Kudos to them. So, hopefully that answered your question a little bit better. Hopefully, you know, my examples and stuff like that were good. If you do want to call in and you are dying to call in after that bell of 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, sorry. After that bell, 7 o'clock. There it is. So, my phone number is 1717-839-3684. You can give me a call. We could talk about furry media that you like, furry media that you would like to say, hey, I don't think that's appropriate, or anything like that. We could talk about anything. I do accept phone calls. I even have a good thing for it. Let's see. What about all the controversy and drama with young and older furs? Well, see, I don't know. I don't feel like that's really talked in the media that much. I mean, the drama between the older and younger furs, I don't feel like there's too much drama. I don't, at least I don't see it. I see it more in the drama of, you know, somebody getting jealous. Like, these older furs, like, I'm not old, thank God, but these older furs, they can afford nice fursuits. They can afford, you know, nice things because they work at a job. They work at a bunch of different other places. And I feel like it's more of a jealousy. It's not really drama. It's just jealousy. That where, you know, if you're young, you can't really afford anything unless if your parents buy it for you. But in the same aspect, now younger furs are actually starting to make their own fursuits and saying, hey, I don't need that much money. You know, I could just buy the supplies and start making fursuits. Like, I've seen this one fursuit maker at I think it was Anthrocon. It was last year. Not last year, but the year before, because I didn't go to Anthrocon this year. But what it was the person said I couldn't afford it, but I made it myself. And maybe older furs are starting to, you know, feel a little jealous because they couldn't live their life that long with being a furry. I mean, I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't really see a lot of, you know, of that. I don't know. So I can't really give you a good answer on that. I feel really bad for saying that, but I can't give you a really good answer. I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, if you guys would like to talk about anything, my phone number is 1717-839-3684. We can get a conversation going. I have you onto the speaker, so you'll be able to be heard well, and I don't have just a microphone propped up against the thing. So, furry media could also be in video games and stuff like that too. I feel like there's a lot of good video games out there that don't really like portray us, but you know a furry made it. I mean, like, come on. Foxtails, you know, that was definitely made by a furry and stuff like that. So let me see if this other comment here, this person really, the only reason why I brought this up is because the most of the youngins about furries are older, and even the CNN touched briefly on that. Sorry, I can't really read in this suit. Brought up because most of the journals. But I mean, I don't know. That's too hard of a question to answer, because I get where you're coming from. I remember that somewhat in the interview, but I don't remember it that fully, and I don't think that there's just a population of young furs out there. I mean, I think there's generally a good balance of older furs and younger furs. So can't really answer that one. I don't know. It's a very good question. That's something you would have to ask somebody who would be like more in depth into the conversation. Now, there's plenty of other different things out there when it comes to furry media. You know, like I was saying, there's video games, there's YouTube, there's television, which television doesn't really represent it that well. But you also have to realize that media kind of goes to papers. They kind of go with a couple other things. I remember back then, and I remember this not really back then, but like I think it was last year, they did a whole entire story with the person that you saw inside here. They were actually doing a whole story on him with the local news. It's called New Jersey Chasing the News. And that was one of their big things. Well, furries have wild fun in their costumes. It's like, you can't say that. You cannot physically say that. Unless if you see the person do it, you cannot physically go up to the person and go, I know what you did last night. You can't do it. That is physically and weird if you do that. But that is just too, you can't say that. And, it just annoys me whenever I hear that. But hopefully somebody will call in. If you do, you can call in. If you are liking this, please share this around to your friends. Maybe we can get more people in here. Maybe we can get a first caller. I really want a first caller tonight because this is the very first time using this thing. And I want to see if it works really well. And hopefully it will. So please call in. I would really enjoy that. So I finally get something to use for callers and nobody's calling me in. It's like, I'm being used for nothing. Well, I mean, the good thing about it is I can do the audio a little bit better, but I can also play music. Yeah, that's something now. I can play music. Isn't that great? Yeah. Woo. So, and actually, I do want to thank you guys for, if you are watching this, I just want to take a brief second to thank you guys for watching this, because this is furry media too. Hopefully I'm doing a good job at it. I mean, I know it's kind of weird, but the first I heard about the CNN thing, well, yeah, I don't know. CNN's kind of like it's starting to become older, and I feel like everything's going to be moving to the internet soon. It's like, CNN what? You still watch that? Like, I feel like the only time you ever watch CNN is like on the TV in an airport, and you're like, yeah, it's CNN up there. Yeah, I'm not watching it, but I can see it. But, so, I don't know. But we can talk all different things about media, and, you know, the music too. You know, the music's starting to get a little bit better, you know. That's why I had Skuro on the other week, because Skuro, it was a good little, you know, separation from it. You know, we got to listen to somebody who actually produces music, you know, and that's the one thing that Skuro brings to the table. He produces music. He makes his own music. Is it the best? Depends on if you like it or not. There's that. You know, we have a couple different DJs out there. I'm not exactly 100% sure their names because I never really liked DJs. Yeah, but I mean, that's only my opinion. I never really liked that, like, really up fast beat music. You have a couple of singers out there too, you know, like there's the guy that I interviewed once. His name was Ace, or Arc Flash Fox, sorry. And he plays the keyboard. I mean, he plays a really good keyboard. And then you have Chow. Hopefully, I eventually get Chow onto the show. I want Chow on because he makes really good, like, he really can play the guitar. I enjoy him a lot. You have Pepper Coyote. You know, Pepper Coyote is really popular. He does pretty well with the media, and, you know, I don't know. I've never really met him, so I can't really say he's nice or he's bad, so can't really say that. There's Foxamore. Foxamore is a big one. He's part of the, you know, music media. And media is such like a general word for this, and that's why I kind of would like, I'm going to eventually come out with a whole show and actually talk about different types of media, like music media or something. But I need somebody to talk to that would, you know, be able to do it and that makes music. you know, media is a very broad topic, and that's kind of why I brought it on today, because eventually I'll get more in the knowledge, and we could talk. I can maybe have a discussion with somebody about music media, or you know, news media, or anything like that. So, but yeah, let's see. This is the first I've ever heard. Oh no, sorry. One day I will find a voice and I'll call you. I used to play guitar. Usually it was stolen. Oh. Well, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of different media out there, and right now I'm just generalizing it because I feel like it's just easier to do that right now. I should have started this at 8. I feel stupid for not starting this at 8. I feel like a lot of people come in when it's 8 because that's when I'm used to doing it. I only did it at 6 because I realized that I have work tomorrow. So don't be surprised if I start doing my shows around 6 o'clock now. 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, those two, but it's going to be mostly at 6 because I got a job. So media is so broad topic, and I will eventually have somebody here, special guest, you know, helping me out, talking about maybe music media. I think that's going to be my next one, is music. The music in the furry fandom. Because music is such a variety of different people. It really is, because you have people who do like house music, dubstep, and then you have the people who do guitars, and you do a couple other ones, you know. And I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be great, and it's not gonna be my next show. My next show is gonna be a big show, so hopefully you guys watch it. But it'll be budgeting for a overseas fur con, so from Brazil to other places. So we're gonna definitely do that next week. It's gonna be exciting, but. Still no call-ins. I'm very angry at this. Like, I bought this darn thing, and I wanted a chance to use it, but nobody's calling me in. I feel very sad right now. Like, is my show this bad today? Like, am I like boring people? Are they like falling asleep on their computer? Are they? Oh, I'm awake. It's just a lecture today. It's like I'm trying to make it fun. I don't know. How can I make it fun? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like, come on. It's not that boring. It's just media. It's a very different way of looking at media. I don't know. But if you are liking this, and you are still here, those 3 people that's been sticking it out all throughout this show, I appreciate it. And I'll make more shows interesting as I get better technology, and because between you and me, 3 people, I am going to get better technology. It's already in the workings. I'm going to make this possible, and I'm going to make this show a little bit more pizzazz, you know. Maybe make it more fun, you know. Maybe I'll have, because what I really want to do is I want to have, like, you know how I did the Furry of the Week before? I would really like to make it like the musician of the week, and then just like have a musician like beginning of like the month, like from the 1st to like the 30th. I'll have different people like on, and hopefully this happens, because I don't know, I need to become more quote unquote popular, I guess, before any fursuiter or any furry in the musical industry or anybody will look at me and go, I'll have an interview with that dude. It's cool. So the one thing that I do want to talk about in the media, and is that it's different. It's different from every variety from the music to the YouTubers and stuff like that. It's such a broad topic, and I just wanted to like put it into the light a little bit before I actually really start talking more about it, because it's really hard to talk about. It really is. I mean, media is not just only one or two things. It's definitely other things. Set up quizzes for us to answer and pick a certain topics or questions. Okay, I could do that. Like, maybe like, what's the biggest fur con in the world? And you'll be like, MFF. Okay, maybe I can do that. Maybe I'll have more quizzes. Maybe I'll do other things. Maybe I'll stop coughing. Who knows? It's too early to tell. Too early to tell. But, yeah, no, we'll definitely make the show a little bit interesting. And, you know, if you want a special guest that you think that's reachable for me, and you're like, hey, this person might be interested on a show, you know, don't hesitate to, I have my email down below, and you like them, you know, don't hesitate to be like, hey, try to get this guy on. Because I got Skype, I got a better system now, so if they do have Skype or anything, you can actually hear them better. Before, it was just coming through my audio. Now it can come through this, and it's great. This thing is a beauty. It's a beauty for my shows. So, I could definitely start doing quizzes and maybe making it a little bit more entertaining, you know. And that's really the whole entire goal here, is just try to make my media, the media I've been talking about like all this time, you know, more entertaining for you, the viewers, you know. That's why I do the call-ins, because I feel like the call-ins give you a chance to hear your voice, you know, and maybe do some other different things, you know. Again, if you want to call in, my phone number is 1717-839-3684, and we could talk about anything that you like. We could talk about different furry medias. I have my phone right here, so it's not a practical joke. I have it connected to my mixer, so as soon as you call in, it will signal just fine. So that is that. You can also realize too that furry media is such a broad topic that you can talk about anything with it. Like, you know, who's your favorite YouTuber? Who's your favorite person that does songs? Who's your favorite anything? You know, be creative. Call in about anything that's furry related. You know, because media is media. It's always constant. It's always going to be out there. It's always going to be exposed. Furries aren't going to die because someone in there said, furries are a bad thing and all we do is have wild fun. It's like, that's not true. You know, and you know it's not true. And you hear that probably 90% of the time. Every time that you say you're a furry, you hear, oh, I heard those people, you know, do the bad stuff. It's like, no, that's not true. Can't be all true. Just because somebody says you're terrible doesn't mean it's true. So, but, yeah, no, you can give me a call. I'm going to do the show until 1/3, well, maybe like one and a half hours, because I'm starting to really run out of topics here, because nobody's giving me a call in, and I'm trying to, if you want to comment on something, if you want to ask me a question like the other person did, that was a very good idea. I mean, you can ask me a question, and we can talk about different stuff that you want to hear about, you know, like anything, you know. I might have missed something here. I'm not a perfect person. I might have missed something, you know, that you really want to talk about, but you didn't hear me talk about it. So you can write in the comments, you know, give me a little bit of feedback here, please. Please, please, please. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to cry on my show. Dashing don't cry on his show. Nope. So, another thing about furry media is not only it's a broad topic, furry media can really kind of corrupt an outlook on stuff. It becomes more generalized, as I like to call it. Hey, let's see. I can't really call, wish I could, but I canceled my data and phone plan recently. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. I hope you get it back soon. That'd be very nice. You know, you don't have to call in. I'm just saying, I just want to try this thing out before I go. So, the one thing that furries do come up with, and another big one, is the generalization of it. You know, media does this to so many different people. You know, if you sneeze the wrong way, you're going to be called, oh, well, that guy sneezed the wrong way. He's got a cold, right? No. So, oh, hello, Tony. How's it going, Tony? My phone lines are open, Tony. If you want to call in, Tony. I like Tony. He's a cool guy. So, now, furry media, again, is such a broad topic. And it could go into so many different things. And I could talk about this for hours upon hours upon hours. And that's why I just did a generalization. My next one's probably going to be about furry music. I already did furry YouTubers, which that's a whole different other media within itself. But really, the main concern of my furry media I wanted to talk about today is basically in TVs and movies. You know, you have that episode... Sorry. You have the episode of... I want to say... What was the Cleveland Rocks? The, shoot. What is that darn... Drew Carey show. That where somebody, I guess, was a furry, and they were like, I want to have fun in a bunny costume. It's like, okay, that's cool. You could do that. That's cool, but that's not all furries. The CSI Miami episode 2 was, these are all shows, people. Okay? Don't get your chronological knowledge off of shows because they're not always true. There's no facts to them. I'm not writing in the fact book that Drew Carey lived in Cleveland. He probably did for a while, but he probably didn't, like, he probably doesn't live there now. I'm sorry. Nobody chooses to live in Cleveland. Nobody chooses it. They just kind of live in Cleveland. But I love Cleveland, so good for you if you're in Cleveland. Let's see. Just message you on Telegram. Well, that's nice. Good for you. If you message me, that's good. I'll text you back later. So, now, the one thing I do want to bring up is, please, if you want to call, my phone number is 1717-839-3684. This time, I can have you crystal clear. I have a mixer now, so you can call in and you can hear your voice really well. Now, media too, to begin with, you know, from the TV shows, from the news stories, from CNN, from everywhere, is that, thank you. I'm glad you love my fursuit. Hit the subscribe button. Yay. No, I'm kidding. But, the one thing about furry media is it gets overwhelming with all this negativity that it brings with. From the Seinfeld show. I mean, not Seinfeld, Cleveland show or whatever. Drew Carey or whatever. And then you have, there was this other one. I remember it being furry, and I remember watching it, and I was like, this is not how furries act. Because they kind of like bunched the furries and the bronies in that one Hot in Cleveland or whatever it was. And I was like, no, you can't bunch them together because they're two different things. My Little Pony has a whole different other one, and then the furries are two different. They're two different. Stop. Abort. So, you have these people who, you know, in the media, they only expect one thing. And then they write a narrative on it. And their narrative can hurt people. It can. It can really hurt people. So, sorry, I'm just so angry about this. It's one of those things that narratives can hurt people in a completely negative way. Now, if you're talking positive about somebody, if you're saying furries are great, they're not like other people, that's fine, you know. But if you're going, all they do is have wild sex, and all they do is just, you know, do everything that's wrong with society. It's like, stop it. Just stop it. I don't go into your home and tell you that you're fat and ugly. That's sad. If I did, then you would really think that you're fat and ugly. Now, I'm not going to say that there isn't furries out there who do that. It's bound to happen. You're going to see one or two, but it's not going to be an overwhelming majority of it. So that's one thing that media needs to keep in mind. We are human beings, or we are foxes. We have feelings. And if you start messing with our feelings and start messing with us, you know, it's going to have an impact. Because, again, I've heard this so many times with so many different people in it. So if you have your own media story, or if you want to talk about something that I've missed in the show, you can call in. My phone number is 1717-839-3684. You can call in and we can have a discussion about what types of media do you think you like, or what types of media that, you know, was positive for the fandom. Like YouTubers. I think YouTubers so far are the most positive for this fandom, but they don't get enough spotlight. Like Adler the Eagle. I think he's a very nice guy. I mean, I don't know if he is. I've never met the dude, but he's a very nice YouTuber, and he talks about different life stories that we've all had, but through his persona. And that's one thing that I do like about him. His animations are usually always up to key or up to date. So there is positive people talking about it. CNN kind of did a positive. NBC kind of did a positive. Was it the best positives in the world? Probably not. Was it the worst? No. It was a harmless little thing. But, and, you know, from the music and all that other stuff, you know. I'm starting to run out of topic, guys. I'm sorry. It's really hard. I just want somebody to call in. Just call in. I'll pay you. No, I'm kidding. I won't pay you, but I really need somebody to, like, to feedback me here. Like, I feel like I'm just looping around talking about the same different things because that's what I'm doing. I have no one to bounce the ideas off to. And it sucks. But the one thing that media does bring, like the artists, I think artists should be considered a media. It's a form of media for furries. It should be a form of media for, you know, now. It should be. And that's one thing that I think news and other things should focus on. They should go, hey, look at this art. It's not bad. It's not hurting anyone. And it looks very cute. Like, there's people out there who do that for a living. You know, make art. It's a form of media. You know, and it has its positives and it has its ups. I mean, but stop looking at just, you know, all the bad stuff and just start focusing on the good stuff. You know, we give to charities. Name another convention. Name an anime convention or one of those superhero conventions. You know, a Comic-Con. Name which one gives to charity. I'm waiting. No? Can't think of any, can you? No, because we give mostly to charities. Now, yeah, it's the dog foundations and stuff like that. A lot of our stuff is non-profit, which I think is a great thing. It gives you a chance to, you know, donate to something that needs your money. And it needs you to help. And it needs you to, you know, it helps them thrive. And it's great. MFF is probably the best one. I need to get an MFF one. I need to get an MFF person on here, like, pronto, like, eventually. And talk about, like, it. Let's see. Just considering, can you call from Telegram? You can call from Telegram. I had somebody call from Telegram. You can definitely call from Telegram. If you want to call from Telegram, my Telegram is dashingfoxie. That's DASIHING and then FOXIE. You can call from Telegram. You can call from your phone. I have a whole bunch of different ways. I think I have my Telegram in the bottom there too. But that's one good thing about furries. We give a lot to charities. And you gotta love it. You gotta love that we do. And it's not all for profit. And the one thing that does bring us together as being furries, and I feel like this is why we can get over all the hate from furries, is the togetherness of it. You know, you look out for your fellow furry and they look out from your fellow furry. It's a very good compromise, and I feel like it just helps out a lot, you know. Because how many times have you been out in that street and you've heard from, you know, the news media, or somebody heard from Vice, or, you know, somewhere, and it's like, is it true that you do that? Do what? You know, do the sex thing. Well, no, it's not. I don't do that. I don't do. Why would I do that in $1,000 suit or a $2,000 suit? That's crazy. That's stupid. Get out of here. That's exactly what I say. Like, well, I don't say that, but I usually say that is not true and is very impartial for you to say that, because I do not do that in a suit. But so you guys can give me a call. Again, my phone number is 1-717-839-3684. Oh, you did? Hold on. If you tried calling from Telegram, I don't know, because I haven't done Telegram in a while. So let me just unlock my phone here. If you want to call from Telegram, that's fine. And you can definitely call from Telegram. There, I have it up now. So if you want to give me a call through Telegram, you can go ahead, give me a shot. So the one thing that furry media does, and from YouTubers and anything, is we give a good outlet on it. I don't know how many people created. Oh, hey, see, there you go. It works. Let me just answer. Wait, did I answer it? Tony, hold on. Call me again, Tony. I screwed up. I accidentally pressed the wrong button. Hold on. Give me a call again, Tony. Here. Let me call Tony, because Tony was calling me, and I feel bad that I didn't get a chance to call him. See, now it says am I on Telegram? Hold on. Ah! It should work. Hold on, it's connecting. Hello, Tony! Can you hear me, Tony? Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Well, no. Well, no, you're fine. I can hear you perfectly. You're all good. You're on my mixer, so you're not gonna like break. Just turn off, like, just pause the video, because then it's gonna give me feedback, and I don't want the feedback. Okay. Yeah. They can hear you on the video. You should be coming in loud and clear. Wolf children? Okay. Okay, so wolf cheering. Now, wait, hold on. Dang it. Okay, wait. I've gotta fix some stuff. Give me a second, Tony. You're doing great. I screwed up. I didn't get a chance to add this thing to it. So, give me a second here. There you go. Okay. Now they should be able to hear you. Let me see. Let me, wait, what? Yeah, okay. Now say something, Tony.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. They should be able to hear you too. I accidentally was an idiot and didn't add it to my mixer. Yay! For me being an idiot. Good job. So,
I can hear it in the video now. It's
okay.
like how many seconds I am now.
Yeah. Okay, good. So you really like the, now, what, did that movie do anything to you as a furry? What?
The movie is called Wolf Children.
Okay.
I don't know if viewers know, but it's like same kind of art style as Studio Gilby.
Okay. So Now, is there any sort of media that you just cannot stand, like, you know, like the stereotype ones, or anything that, like, that you have watched?
I hate the media where it shows us as just like these happy yippee people, like almost hippies, almost, where we're always bouncing about, always happy and stuff, and always trying to have sex and stuff. I don't like that portray of furries.
Okay, so
Someone like trying to put us into a group almost that can be made fun of.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you, with the whole entire, you know, they sometimes, I wonder if they do that, you know, just to make fun of us. They put us into a group, and then they kind of like go, hey, these guys are weirdos.
In TV, they're kind of losing the spotlight with online media, so they gotta try and have outlandish things to get their views in.
Yeah, and I can agree with that 100%. Because it's one of those things that I feel like the media is just dying. So now they just gotta like try to save it. So,
Yeah.
So where are you from, Tony?
Australia.
Oh, Australia.
Yeah. So kind of getting down here.
You're my very first Australian caller. Congratulations, Tony. You win. Nothing, but nothing. You get.
The perfect prize.
Oh, I can't come up with a prize, Tony. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna ship something to Austria. I mean, I can give you a virtual hug later.
How about being known as the first Australian on your show?
There you go, Tony, the first Australian mouse to be on my show. You're a mouse, right?
Slash bear. Like bear was my first persona, and then I found like the mouse to go coinciding with my shy side.
Okay.
Yeah, like bear is like my cuddly side, and then the mouse represents my shy, nervous side.
Well, there you go. That's really cool, Tony. Media will never talk about that, though. But
whenever I make a character, I like to put thought into it.
Well, there you go. And see, that's the one thing that furry media, or I mean, not furry media, sorry. Furry media is great at it. But that's the one thing that the media or like news stations fail to recognize. That it takes a lot of effort to make these characters. It's not just like you wake up one day and go, hey, I made a character. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
At least one good thing that comes from it is that they try to show us as creative people.
That's true. That's true. That is one good thing.
Positive and stuff.
Yeah. So, well, it was nice talking to you, Tony, from Australia. And
yeah, I haven't YouTube before.
Yeah.
So, in the show and first time on YouTube.
First time on YouTube. There you go. And first time through my mixer. You're my very first time ever getting a call through the mixer. So.
Well, there is another show, but it's not like Furry. But it's another good animation show I know called The Boy and the Beast.
Well, there you go. So.
Felt like a samurai bear who takes in a human orphan and raised him. And you see him being raised by the bear till he's like 20, and he goes back to the human world.
Jeez.
It's pretty good.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out sometime, Tony.
Yeah, The Boy and the Beast.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on the Talking with Dashing Foxie show.
Yeah, being a pleasure.
Yep. And I hope you have a dashing night. And thank you.
It'll be... well, sometimes it can be unbearable.
Tony, it'll get better with time. Trust me, everything gets better with time. So, have a good night.
Well, it's more like midday here, but Yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. See you later.
Yeah.
Well, that was very fun. We had Tony, the very first person from Australia to ever call me. I will take phone calls through my Telegram, I guess. Are they going to be the best quality phone calls? Probably not. I don't get that great a signal in here, but I can at least talk to you, and we can have a nice conversation. My Telegram is at dashingfoxie. It's the same exact way as this channel. You can give me a call, or you can give me a call through the phone number, which is 717-839-3684, and you can give me a call and talk about your favorite. That guy's favorite movie was Wolfgren. I suck at names. I can't remember damn names. But it was a really good movie to him. And the one thing about furry movies is it can turn you into a furry. Like, a lot of people always say their very first furry movie experience was Robin Hood. You know, Robin Hood, it was great. It was just watching him, you know, and it was very fun. So it turns a lot of people into furries. A lot of movies do turn people into furries. So media is a wide range of things, like I said before. From movies to television shows to anything. Anything can spark a furry movement. My opinion, the one that did it for me was Star Fox. It was Star Fox, and Star Fox. A little Sonic, but Star Fox is so much better because Star Fox is freaking awesome. I love Star Fox. So, I will say that. And if you do want to call in and use Telegram, you can. So, Tony just did, and I think it turned out okay, hopefully. So, now, the one thing I do have to say is I will be having a different media show, and we'll definitely be discussing more into media, maybe music next time. I already talked more about YouTubers in another separate video, so we'll be able to do that. And yeah, I mean, we'll get more conversations out of media. And if you are liking this, please hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate that, especially you, Tony. No, I'm kidding. No, I would really like that. And maybe we can get more people in here, you know, if you share it around, and we can have more conversations. Just remember, my phone number is 717-839-3684. You can call in, and I will answer the phone, and we can talk about your favorite media, you know, from all that other stuff. So, now, the one thing that I do have to say about furry media is it comes from Disney. I think Disney was like the start of it. You had Disney, and then you had like, you know, like Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes is a good one. Looney Tunes is basically Looney Tunes. It's very funny. It's very, you know, great. So, no, it's just Looney Tunes, Disney, you know. The talking mouse has been around for quite a while. You had other different short characters too, you know. You had all of them. So, furry media has been around for a very long time, even if it will not say it's furry, but technically it is furry. And it always technically will be furry, like Mickey Mouse from back then. Yeah. I would say Mickey Mouse started it all. In terms of media, it started it all. And then, like, after a while, it was like, hey, I really like this. And then people started to really like being furries. You know, talking about it, you know, being able to go to conventions and stuff. And media has been around for so long that it's not just you or me. So, let's see. We have Lady and the Tramp, Zootopia, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Dumbo. Yeah, I mean, those are all furry movies. And those are all great furry movies. Dumbo, I'm not a huge fan of, but it's a furry movie on the left. You can't really say it's not a furry movie. So, but if you do want to call in and talk about your favorite furry moment in this fandom, and you want to, you know, call in, and even if you're not from the United States, you know, you can call me through Telegram. Will it be the best conversation ever? I don't know. Maybe. So let's see. I majored 1 from The Lion King. Now see, The Lion King. Okay, The Lion King, I've heard so many people like say, I turned into a furry because of The Lion King. I love The Lion King, but don't remake it. Stop. Stop with the remaking. Stop, media. Stop it. Bad media. Go back. Do it. You're going overboard. Because I really love The Lion King, and I don't want them to screw it up. Okay? You don't need a remake of The Lion King. Maybe you need a remake of the Robin Hood? I would be in favor of a remake of the Fox Robin Hood. I'd be in favor of that. I should create a petition for that. Because they're making all this remakes of all different kind of stuff. Heck, they're even making a Sonic movie. You can't make Robin Hood? I love that movie. That movie's so good. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. And should be with all the respect. So, it's a good furry movie too. And all this media that you know has gone from back then to today, like you have Rock Dog, which I've never even heard of it, and I watched it and I was like, this movie is terrible. Which, you know, it has a dog in it. It's like, I'm a furry. Just because it has a furry in it doesn't mean I'm gonna automatically watch it. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's some furry movies out there that are like really, really good. And you're like, Zootopia, amazing. Tears of Joy, you know. And then you like see like Rock Dog or what's that Arctic the polar bear? It's like that's like a furry cash-in too. Oh shoot, no, what is that? Arctic of the North? My lord, that movie was terrible. It was awful. I mean, I watched it like halfway through and I said, it's a furry movie, but I can't sit here anymore. I gotta go. So So just because it has a furry in it does not mean I'm going to automatically be attached to it. So please, it's not every movie. And we can't be sponsoring every movie out there who's a furry movie. Just because you have a talking dog or something in it doesn't mean I'm going to be sponsoring you. Doesn't mean I'm going to be like, I love this movie, you should go watch it, and you should sit yourself through the torture because it has a talking dog to it. No, I'm not going to do that. Because if I see it's a terrible movie, I'm not going to watch it. And I feel like that's what media does nowadays. It's like, well, we looked at the chart and we realized that dogs are in, cats are out. Let's make a dog movie. Like, look at Air Bud. I mean, Air Bud could be considered kind of like a furry movie because Air Bud was about a dog who played basketball and then a dog who played football. And then it's like, there's nothing in the rule book says he can't. Oh, it's like, no. Like, it might be a furry movie. It might look like a furry movie, but that doesn't mean it is a good furry movie. So, that's the one thing that furries, I feel like, get too attached to, you know. Even when Zootopia, like, Zootopia was such a good movie, but I was skeptical in the beginning. I'm like, I don't know, they could be just trying to get into the furry market, tap that market pretty well. It's like, why can't you just make a movie that's, like, good? And, yeah, and that's exactly what they did. They made a good movie. So, congratulations. Bravo to that. Bravo. So, let's see. Wolf Children. Okay, yeah. You were telling us about that when you called in. If you do want to call in, my phone line is still active. The phone number is 1717-839-3684. You could be the second person to ever call in and be on this mixer. I have a great phone line service. It's not just a microphone hooked up to my thing anymore. It's actually really good. So, now the one thing that furry movies do bring is usually they bring some sort of, I don't know, every time I watch a furry movie, it's like, I hate you. Oh, I love you again. Oh, I hate you. You killed me. Like, even The Lion King, even if it's a great movie, I mean, it's a fantastic movie, there's barely any flaws to it, but it's like, it follows the same storyline. It's like, oh, you betrayed us. Oh, wait, no. You killed Mufasa. It's like, how did he kill him? He was like 2 years old. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. But, and then Scar? Like, why didn't anybody realize Scar was a bad guy? His name is Scar. That's like a classic bad guy name. 2 and 2, people. 2 and 2. So, I can go on about that all day, but I really do like that. Zootopia 2 is coming out, and that is part of it. Tony, I don't want you to call again. I like having one time, one per person. Let some other person try to call in if they want to call in. So, movies are a big part of the Furries. Music, different things like that. And, yeah, no. Maybe I'll have a whole... I know before I did, like, a whole list of, like, my favorite top 10, like, movies, like furry movies, but I feel like I should do it again and then be like, what's your top favorite? Like, what are furries, like, really into, you know, as it comes to movies? Because, yeah, we can all say that we have watched... Whenever you see a furry movie, you want to at least watch it. You know, you want to at least give it a chance. But when does it turn into, this movie's so terrible, I can't get past the furry part? So, and media does that a lot. They look at charts, they look at trends, and I think right now furries are in the trend upward. So that's why that they're like, well, Zootopia made this much money. Now we can make this much money, right? Yeah, totally. Give that guy a champagne bottle. No. But, because I don't know what the next one is. Oh, wait. Somebody's calling in. Oh. Hello, caller.
Hey, Dashing, it's Ganvolo. How you doing?
It's going great. You're coming in perfectly. Hopefully, these people can appreciate this because I bought a mixer. I don't know if you knew that, but I did. So.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, what I wanted to put forth was, since you're talking about media, and that's timely because someone in my Telegram group once asked about suggestions for furry literature. And I got kind of an appalling shock because so many of the people in that group, they could only offer like 3 suggestions per person, and one of the suggestions was Homestuck. And I was like, well, come on, guys. There's Art Spiegelman's Mouse and Arkrum's Fritz the Cat. You've got Albedo Anthropomorphics. You could count the Anne McCaffrey series. There's so much to read.
There is. And
oh yeah.
Now, I usually like reading Kyle Gold sometimes. I think he's a pretty good. The only thing I don't like about him, he gets too much into detail. But like,
yeah.
The furry books, it's a very different topic because there's so many different furry artists when it comes to literature out there. Even like if you go on the Furfinity, I don't know if you ever did that, and you just look at all the stories that they came up with. And now some of them are very bad. I'm not gonna lie. I sometimes like reading them because I get bored and nothing else to do. And then there's some of them that are like really good, and it's like, why is this person just limiting himself to doing stories on FA? Why not try to, branch out? But that's a very interesting topic. Books are starting to become, sadly, like, I don't know. I like holding a book and reading the book. I don't like reading it like on a phone, but I like actually having the physical copy. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. But like, that's a very interesting topic because books don't usually come up in furries as much as they used to. Books used to be a big thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's one that I could mention called Boris the Bear, which is a comic book. I think that eventually graduated into a graphic novel. But the whole idea behind it was that it was doing parody on the the rash of furry comics that came out, like in the wake of the popularity of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, it came out in that era. It was kind of making fun of how everything was trying to capitalize off of that popularity. And it just turned out to be a hilarious book. You know, I just really enjoyed that one.
Well, I mean, I have to agree with you because books are so fun to me because I can actually imagine what's going on. It's not like a movie where it's all played out and I'm like, I don't have to think about this. But books are a very interesting topic. I was not expecting somebody to call in about books, but very good. Very good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
well, I would hope that more people would start, discussing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. I mean, and I would really like to see more discussions on books, And I mean, I would do a show about books, but I don't know how many people would, I think you'd be very interested. I don't know. But so is there any times in like the media or any sort of thing that like, I mean, you really like, or is there like some things that you're like, I wish they could change or do anything? Because I'm trying to talk more into the lines of seeing like not just our furry media, but like the lines of a normal person like looking into us. Like, how would you say the media portrays us as a whole?
Well, I think people are kind of warming up to the ideas that we put forth, as odd as they are. Another YouTuber whose show I watch a lot is Abergwine, and she does a really good job of kind of pointing out how good of a job this or that show does about portraying us. And she's found some that are really respectful of the fandom and actually bother to do their homework before they put out whatever they're going to say. And that's very encouraging to see more of that. More proper, respectful portrayal, even though it is something that's admittedly weird.
Well, yeah. Again, like I started out the show. It's kind of like one of those things that whenever you see a clown walk down the street, you're gonna be like, "That's a clown walking down the street." And then when you see us walking down the street, you're gonna be like, "That's weird. Like, what is that guy doing?" So,
yeah, for sure.
And it's a general reaction, and that's why I never really get angry at people, who say that, it's kind of weird, because it's true. You're walking around as furry animals. I mean, in my opinion, it's adorable, but in your opinion, it could be completely different.
Yeah, it's definitely off kilter. So
yeah,
yeah. But I like how people are investigating and looking into the good points about it.
Yeah, and I have to say 100% I agree with you. So it's very good. You brought a lot of books to this conversation and stuff, which, again, I wasn't surprised people actually still read books. What are books? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. But if you...
people I'm trying to invite to this conversation, would definitely be interested in it, so...
Yeah, no. I mean, if you want to, if you want me to talk about it, try to get a couple people, that'd be interested in me talking about it before I go and start talking about books. So, I mean...
Yeah, with pleasure.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if you do that, you can share all your Oklahoma friends and, Actually, today somebody, funnily, it's funny, you actually called, because somebody actually invited me to the Oklahoma Con today.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to come.
And I would love to, but I can't really get out of work right now, number one. And number two, it's quite a bit of a hike for me. I mean, it'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe give it like 3 years whenever I see how it's going, and then we'll talk about maybe going. Because I would love to go to Oklahoma or Texas. It'd be either that or Texas. So
that sounds fair to me because I know it's going to be kind of a while before I can get to Anthrocon. MSF I am actually going to try to get to this year, but Anthrocon would be kind of a stretch for me. So
yeah, and the one thing about Anthrocon, I mean MFF, which really sucks, and it's probably going to suck for a lot of people, is that they bumped it up to like December 5th to 8th or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, there is no way the company I work for is going to be like, yeah, you can get off that time, whatever, go have fun. Like, there is no way. Like, that's crazy. Like, I wish they would have, done it, but
I guess you got corporations of all kinds. That's about the time when one of my regular vacation times is.
well, there you go. You winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, so I have a little window.
So, well, it was definitely nice talking to you. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and if you get a couple people, subscribing to my channel saying, hey, do you want to hear books? I would definitely have a whole discussion on books. We could do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'll let them know all about it.
Okay. Well, thank you, and I hope you have a dashing night, and thanks for calling in and helping me use this mixer. Huh.
Absolutely. Dashing night to you.
Night to you.
Okay. Have a good one.
Yep. Bye. That's one of the callers that always calls me. He's a very nice very nice guy too. Just wonderful. I love talking to him because he always has such interesting outtakes on everything I say. It's like he calls in and is like, I'm ready to talk about books, and I'm like, books? Wow. That was good. It was a good conversation. It's quite fun, mostly because of the anonymous on how everyone is enjoying themselves. Well, yeah, I've never been to a con. Well, it is a very fun time. So, Niggy, I think that's what your name is. I can't really read it. Yeah, you can call me on Telegram. I don't know if you knew that, because I think you're the one who asked me about that. If you can call me on Telegram. I know Tony already called me, so if you want to call me, you can go ahead. I've actually been doing this for 2 hours. Didn't realize that. Whoops. Oh well. I'm going to end this probably in like 10 minutes because I'm starting to get really thirsty and I'm very hungry. I worked a lot today. No. But yeah, no. If you want to call me, you still got time. And yeah, you can definitely call me. I just got to unlock my phone so I can see it. But there you go. If you want to call me, you can call me through Telegram, which is dashingfoxie. It's the same way spelled on this thing. And yeah, no. So maybe I will do a whole one on that. But I think my next furry media. Oh, here's another one. Wait, let's do that. Let's see. Hello!
Hello.
Welcome to the Talking with Dashing Foxie show.
Am I coming out clear?
You are coming out crystal clear from my end.
That's good news.
That's good. So, what's your name?
Evan, but you can just call me Nigig.
Nigig? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the show, Nigig. You're the first time caller, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
There you go. So, what's your favorite thing about the media and furries?
Well, it's always interesting to see some portrayals and perspectives of certain, journalists. But it can be quite unpleasant to see, some stigma still.
And I have to agree that there is still some stigma in it. It's like you get all your ducks in a row, and all of a sudden somebody shoots one, and you're like, darn it, it happened. It did.
Yeah.
So,
although I think it's generally just quieting down, all that stigma, so it's bound to, come up less. I think.
Now,
I don't really see it around.
Oh, sorry
much.
for interrupting. But
Oh no. Fine.
It's okay. So, what would you say like a stigma would be for us? Like, what would be like the number one thing that you hear from people, from them?
Well, I guess just how weird we are. But I think that's all the other, like, thoughts and all that, like, that were sexual deviance and all that. I think that's pretty much gone, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I do get occasionally asked when I'm at work. Oh, not at work. I don't tell them that I'm a furry at work. That'd be weird. But I do occasionally get asked, "Do you guys have fun in your fursuits?" And I always tell them, "No, because I spent way too much money on this. Why would I ruin it?"
Yeah.
But
It takes a lot of time to clean it too.
yeah, definitely takes a lot. So, what's your favorite movie in the media of furries?
Well, it's a tough one. I haven't really come into the fandom because of movies. I didn't come through movies.
Okay.
I came in through games. A visual novel.
Oh. Boy, this is another novel. Like, I didn't realize people were still into books. This is great. What novel?
No, it's not a book. It's a game.
Oh, okay.
Visual novel.
Oh, that's the game? Visual novel?
Well, it's sort of adult related, but
Oh, okay.
that's a visual novel. But I came into it from that. I joined this small pocket of the small community, and I've really grown attached to some of my friends there, and some are like I still talk to for the past 3 years or so, like still friends with.
That's great to hear. So,
So I'd say like you could just come in from basically anything these days. Like you probably for young furs, it'd probably be for the TikToks or whatever. From the TikToks, maybe.
yeah. Foxtails too, video games.
So there's a lot of ways you could probably come into the fandom.
Very true. And usually it's media based, you get like you and me. I got in through a video game basically, and I love Star Fox growing up as I was a kid, and that's how I got into it, and so yeah, no, it's crazy, and media does a lot of good things, for this furry fandom sometimes. So
Yeah.
So, well, it was certainly nice talking to you. Where are you calling from?
Canada.
Ooh, Canada, eh? That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I always have to say that when I say Canada, eh? So, but it was certainly nice talking to you, and hopefully you continue watching further ones, and you can call in a future episode. So.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. So.
It was nice talking to you.
It was nice talking to you, and I hope you have a dashing night. Thank you for watching and calling in.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, man.
Good night. There you go. See? Another person who got in by video games or any sort of media. So, as for the finishing touches on the show, I'm going to end it right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this media show about media stuff. And make sure to put in the comments what time would you like me to start. I mean, I could start later if you guys think it would be more appropriate, or I could start earlier if you think it would be appropriate. So, also, too, next week, it's a big show. It's all about budgeting. Going to a convention overseas. I'm going to do or have a whole table of different things like I had last time. But this time, it's overseas. What is the cheapest convention to go to overseas? And we're going to break it down by if you travel by plane, what's your best options, you know, doing stuff like that. And I'm going to center it all around one city, and we're going to see what is the best fur con to go to overseas. And it's not going to hurt your wallet, because that's the whole entire thing on this show. I don't want to hurt your wallet. I also want to be able to tell you, so in the future, if you do plan on going to like Eurofurence or the Japanese one, the Japan Fur Meet, or any other one, we're going to lay down the cost, and we're going to try to find the best deals for you to go to. Which con is the best one for you to fly to, too. So, as always, I want to thank you for watching the Talking with Dashing Foxie show. And this show is only at its beginning. We're going to get better. I'm going to get a lot more different things, and we're going to get a lot better in the future. So, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you do have a dashing night. Bye. Thanks for watching Dashing Talks. Bye.